Today we are staining this privacy fence that I built about a month ago. I made some mistakes early on in the beginning, so today I'm going to show you how to stain a fence as well as how not to stain a fence. So stick around and we'll get right into it. We are using this Ready Seal wood stain. It is a natural cedar color. I've used this stain before and been very happy with it, but not with a pump sprayer. This is going to be my first time, or this was my first time using it with a pump sprayer. Traditionally, I had used it with a brush and a roller and worked really well. With any paint product, it's going to be necessary to shake this very well to make sure that the color is consistent throughout. I put 2 gallons into my pump sprayer here, and which should have been enough to complete this about 41 feet of fencing at 6 feet tall, but I ended up needing 3 gallons, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. But this is the correct way. This is what I found after some trial and error to be the best way to do it. After all the videos that I had watched on this to make sure that I was doing it correctly, none had really prepared me for actually doing it correctly. So one pass up and down was the easiest way to do it. If I missed a spot, I in the beginning was going back to try to spray over it and make sure that I hit every inch of wood. However, not the best use of stain, and I ended up wasting probably 1 gallon to a half gallon backtracking, and you'll see it in a minute that it just wasn't conducive to the wood, and it ended up just being a waste of time and again stain. So here's the very beginning. This is how not to stain the wood fence, but going back and forth like this over and over in the same spot. I had a little nozzle problem here, which is what I was adjusting, but you can see that I'm going multiple passes back and forth over each picket, and that's just not the case, or it's just not the correct way to be doing it. The stain wasn't absorbing into the wood fast enough, so by the second pass, you can see that I start going back over it a second time here. The second pass is just running down the fence. There is no, it's maybe hard to see in this video, but it's not really being absorbed, so I needed to wait about, I think it's 24 or 48 hours for it to completely dry. I'm going to give it probably another week before I do my second coat, not for any necessary purpose. We're here in Florida. The sun is baking this and drying it out really well, but I will wait a little bit before I do my second coat. And again, it came out a little orange at first, and I think with the second stain and a little bit of time in the elements in the sun, it will become a little bit more brown. But you can see that I'm making a second pass immediately after making the first one, and this just it didn't do anything. When I pan out, you can see that there's no darker space anywhere. The entire fence is the same color, whether I did one quick pass or went over it 2 or 3 times. So we're back to the end when I had figured it out correctly, which is just keeping a lot of pressure in the sprayer, keeping it pumped so that it does give you a lot of pressure, and one pass back and forth. If I missed a pretty significant spot, I went back, but for the most part it's just up and down, one pass, and that did the trick. And here's the finished product. This is after one coat and immediately after the staining, so it's a little bit wet. This is also a sneak peek into my yard transformation, so stay tuned for those videos. I am the DIY Realtor. Look forward to being a resource.